Good morning. Hello, creatives. Thank you for joining us for this month's Designer Talk. My name is Linda Abbott, and I'm the Senior Architectural Design Consultant for StoneHardscapes. I've been working in the industry now for over 20 years, and I love everything to do with design, and I love working with designers and landscape architects to help create beautiful outdoor oases. Today's virtual Designer Talk is about cost-conscious ways to maintain your design aesthetic during challenging times. Manufacturers that import goods and services from overseas are experiencing unprecedented ocean freight costs, which has had a huge impact from food to gas to construction. So this month's webinar provides the tools to help you maintain the integrity of your projects during this industry-wide challenge. Our webinar goals for the day are to overcome rising costs of natural stone to fulfill your design intent. We are going to look at tools to incorporate bandings and unique patterns with smaller size natural stone pavers, how to create the illusion of a large format design, and follow the GSI guidelines to meet and/or exceed your design expectations. So let's get started, shall we? Our first goal to overcome those rising costs of natural stone to fulfill your design intent. We're going to focus on both the residential as well as the commercial side. The container shortages have driven the shipping costs to more than double over the last year. So how can we find solutions to maintain the beautiful aesthetic of a project without compromising the project's design intent? For residential design, the most popular is concrete pavers versus the natural stone. And there are certain misconceptions that make you feel that concrete pavers may be a better solution in regards to being more cost effective, but that is not the case. We can incorporate natural stone into your project's design and still remain on budget. Starting with the residential design, there's no need to lower your design standards, and we'll help you achieve the best looks by being creative with the layout and stay within our client's budget. With concrete pavers, as you can see here on the picture on the left, these pavers get extremely hot from the sun. And because of that, you'll end up burning your feet, your little pet's feet, your baby's feet. It's really not worth it when you look to the right and you can get a natural stone paver installed and enjoy the fact that it stays cool to the touch. You don't have to worry about burning your feet or your pet's feet or your baby's feet. The natural stone paver never fades from the sun. So with that being said, concrete pavers take a little more maintenance because the color fades since it's not a natural product. The color will fade and you'll have to clean and have it resealed. And that gets costly on the client's budget over time versus the natural stone where you never have to do that. So it's a lot easier to maintain. Bleach and water is the simple cleaning method used. And next month's webinar from our Senior Director of Distribution will discuss care and maintenance for natural stone. So definitely look out for that webinar. The natural stone pavers, as you can see on the right, that also will increase your property value. So when people are coming to buy a home, they're looking at things like, does the home have a natural stone driveway or pool deck? They know those benefits for having a natural stone versus a concrete paver. Here's another example of the concrete paver versus the natural stone. As you can see here, the concrete paver that's on the left-hand side of the screen, that paver will get extremely hot from the sun, and it can burn your feet on a hot summer day, as well as if you are sitting along the edge of the pool on the coping, that coping gets extremely hot. Whereas on the right-hand side, this project that was redone in natural stone, This deck has coping and pavers that will never be hot. So you will always be able to walk on that barefoot with no issues at all. And because this project was so beautiful, I wanted to share with you the overall drone view because this really turned out lovely. And it really shows you that you can create a beautiful outdoor oasis in a backyard with natural stone, and your cost will be minimal. Goal number 2 is to incorporate bandings and or unique patterns with smaller size natural stone pavers. This residential pool deck created a design intent that turned out really lovely. One easy way is to use a smaller natural stone paver. For under $6 a square foot, a natural stone paver can be incorporated into your design. By using a 6x12 natural stone paver, it has a far more superior aesthetic look over a, for example, fake 16x16 concrete paver, don't you think? So let's get real. Ladies, maybe you could help me out here. Would you rather have a large fake cubic zirconia engagement ring? Or would you rather have a smaller, real, quality diamond for an engagement ring from your fiance? Just simple question. Another example of using a natural stone paver in a smaller size without sacrificing the design intent of this project. This was an ivory deck that was installed, and they used a 6x12 paver on a staggered running bond. The offset design used a rectangular shaped stone that created a transitional feel for the space. And the running bond pattern also deceives the eye with the long runs of pavers to create an illusion of the deck space being larger than it really is. So I wanted to share that with you because it really, even though the pavers are smaller, it really creates a beautiful pool deck for this client, and they're super happy with it. This video that I'm about to show you creates a modern flair with the most popular design concept that doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. The whites and grays have been super popular, and this client chose to do this 6x12 paver to keep the cost down and yet still create that modern flair that they're looking for. So I wanted to share that with you. This pool deck created a really nice, timeless, yet modern design. Here's another look of the Aspen white marble pavers being used on a beautiful, modern home. Clearly, this pool project channels a sophisticated and modern look using smaller stones. Once again, bigger is not always better, and it's not always a necessary requirement to achieve the modern design that's intended for the project. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about commercial projects. Commercial pool projects are usually on a much grander scale, and the square foot price adds up much quicker. Therefore, we have to be conscious on how we can adjust the design without forfeiting the beauty and function of the project. So this project was approximately 12,000 square feet, and 6x12 ivory travertine pavers were used, and this one turned out beautiful. It was an intercoastal project that the architect got very creative with the stone size, and I'm going to share with you some unique design features. This area here was one of my favorites. It has beautiful, lush landscaping and combination of the artificial turf and paving areas that were boxed out in ivory travertine in a herringbone pattern. It set a beautiful tone for the space. Another cool design concept that the landscape architect implemented here was the split design with herringbone pattern. And it really created a unique design for this pathway leading to the lower level of the pool deck. With a seamless transition between project areas, the split design incorporated with herringbone pattern, the addition of artificial turf, and creating unique design concepts to the space, these circular looks with the artificial turf. It really changed up and gave a dramatic look to the space. So I wanted to share that with you as well. Again, not using large pavers, still using the smaller pavers, keeping it, being cost conscious with the size of the stone and the overall project's budget. We were able to really implement a beautiful outdoor oasis for the space. Here's another example of using 6x12 natural stone pavers versus a concrete paver. This country club was, again, several thousand square feet, and they opted to use marble pavers in a 6x12 to help keep that cost within budget and transform the space into a unique, beautiful area for their clients to visit. This plunge pool area was boxed out with a double, if you look here, there's a double stacked 6x12 paver back to back up against the pool coping. It added a little bit of a design flair and detail to the space. It's little design tricks that can be used to really make a space look unique. So going back to that small versus real, a small real diamond versus that large fake cubic zirconia, you can buy a smaller real diamond as your center stone and then create that smaller real stone, surround that smaller real stone with a halo of smaller diamonds that will make your center stone appear a bit larger than it really is. Or you can have a cluster of smaller diamonds, as seen here, set together to appear as one shiny stone. The same is true when creating the illusion of a large format design in natural stone. By clustering the stones together and adding a banding of material around it, you're able to give the illusion of looking larger than it really is. So I'm going to go through that with you here. Here is a large format design that is super trendy right now. It's aesthetically pleasing. It has a luxurious feel. It creates a more expansive overall look of the pool deck. One of the easiest ways to make a space appear more grand is to create a large format design by pulling together smaller pavers to create a large format design. We keep you in budget using an actual large, instead of using an actual large format stone. This will save on installation because the larger the stone, the more manpower you need, and it takes several men to hold that one piece of stone and put it into place. Using smaller stones is going to be less expensive and therefore keep the cost down. So going back to the small real diamond versus the large fake cubic zirconia stone, you can buy that small real diamond as your center stone, surround it with smaller real stone that I mentioned before. This is that same concept put into play. 24 by 24 Marble pavers were put together in clusters of 4 to create a 48 by 48 size stone, and then banding it with the artificial turf creates a grander look. This deck is comprised of a 16 by 24 inch paver on a staggered running bond, and also creating that large format design, clustering those 16 by 24 pavers together and boxing it out with the artificial turf gave it a really unique design flair for this pool deck on the water. Box out with artificial turf, box out using contrasting stone color or different material, or box out using the same material in a different size to create visual appeal in a subtle way. There's so many different ways to get creative with natural stone. And here, stepping pads allow access from one side of the pool to the other. And to the right, large natural stone pads allow for additional leisure areas and the illusion of a large format design that was created in this space. We suggest reviewing the Global Stone Institute's quality level specification of travertine. I talked about this a little bit before in my last webinar and showed you the pros of using the Global Stone Institute guidelines. If you follow these guidelines, the most appropriate quality level for your project's design will always ensure yours and your client's expectations are met or exceeded. In addition, each quality level fits within a different design concept. For example, if you're designing a resort style outdoor environment with tiki huts and such, a classic or premium travertine will be better suited. A plus quality level would be a bit too refined and not recommended for that space. However, if your design concept lends itself to a more refined and formal aesthetic, then the plus grade would be a better option for you. Jason, our Senior Director of Distribution, also touched on the quality level specifications and did a webinar on that recently, and you can also find that on YouTube. So for more tips and tricks on how to incorporate different types of natural stone materials into your project's design, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are always here to make your specification process easy, as well as bring your natural stone designs to fruition with both function and beauty. So for any questions at all, please feel free to email me or reach me on LinkedIn, or feel free to give us a call. My cell phone number is here, and I look forward to helping you with all of your natural stone needs. And I thank you for joining me. And until next time, stay healthy, stay creative, and be well.